Isaiah 23. Wail, ships of Tarshish, your strong seaports all in ruins. When the ships returned from Cyprus, they saw the destruction. Hold your tongue, you who live on the seacoast, merchants of Sidon. Your people sailed the deep seas, buying and selling, making money on wheat from Shihor. Grown along the Nile, multinational broker in grains. Hang your head in shame, Sidon. The sea speaks up. The powerhouse of the ocean says, I've never had labor pains, never had a baby, never reared children to adulthood, never gave life, never worked with life. It was all numbers, dead numbers, profit and loss. When Egypt gets the report on Tyre, what wailing, what wringing of hands. Visit Tarshish, you who live on the seacoast. Take a good long look and wail, yes, cry buckets of tears. Is this the city remembered as energetic and alive, bustling with activities, this historic old city expanding throughout the globe, buying and selling all over the world? And who is behind the collapse of Tyre? The Tyre that controlled the world markets? Tyre's merchants were the business tycoons. Tyre's traders called all the shots. God of the angel armies ordered the crash to show the sordid backside of pride and puncture the inflated reputations. Sail for home, O ships of Tarshish. There are no docks left in this harbor. God reached out to the sea and sea traders. Threw the sea kingdoms into turmoil. God ordered the destruction of the seacoast cities, the centers of commerce. God said, there's nothing left here to be proud of, bankrupt and bereft, Sidon. Do you want to make a new start in Cyprus? Don't count on it. Nothing there will work out for you either. Look at what happened to Babylon. There's nothing left of it. Assyria turned it into a desert, into a refuge for wild dogs and stray cats. They brought in their big siege engines, tore down the buildings, and left nothing behind but rubble. Whale ships of Tarshish, your strong seaports all in ruins. For the next 70 years, a king's lifetime, Tyre will be forgotten. At the end of the 70 years, Tyre will stage a comeback, but it will be the comeback of a worn-out whore, as in the song. Take a harp, circle the city, unremembered whore. Sing your old songs, Maybe someone will remember. At the end of the 70 years, God will look in on Tyre. She'll go back to her old whoring trade, selling herself to the highest bidder, doing anything with anyone, promiscuous, with all the kingdoms of earth for a fee. But everything she gets, all the money she takes in, will be turned over to God. It will not be put in banks. Her profits will be put to the use of God, aware God-serving people, providing plenty of food and the best of clothing. Isaiah chapter 24. Danger ahead. God's about to ravish the earth and leave it in ruins. Rip everything out by the roots and send everyone scurrying, priests and lay people alike, owners and workers alike, celebrities and nobodies alike, buyers and sellers alike, bankers and beggars alike, the haves and have-nots alike. The landscape will be a moonscape, totally wasted. And why? Because God says so. He's issued the orders. The earth turns gaunt and gray, the world silent and sad, sky and land lifeless, colorless. Earth is polluted by its very own people who have broken its laws, disrupted its order, violated the sacred and eternal covenant. Therefore, a curse like a cancer ravages the earth. Its people pay the price of their sacrilege. They dwindle away, dying out one by one. No more wine, no more vineyards, no more songs or singers. The laughter of castanets is gone, the shouts of celebrants gone, the laughter of fiddles gone, no more parties with toasts of champagne, serious drinkers gag on their drinks, the chaotic cities are unlivable, anarchy reigns, every house is boarded up, condemned, people riot in the streets for wine, but the good times are gone forever, no more joy for this world. The city is dead and deserted, bulldozed into piles of rubble. That's the way it will be on this earth. This is the fate of all nations. An olive tree shaken clean of its olives, a grapevine picked clean of its grapes. But there are some who will break into glad song. Out of the west they'll shout of God's majesty. Yes, from the east God's glory will ascend. Every island of the sea will broadcast God's fame, the fame of the God of Israel. From the four winds and the seven seas we hear the singing, all praise to the righteous one. But I said, that's all well and good for somebody, but all I can see is doom, doom, and more doom. All of them at one another's throats. Yes, all of them at one another's throats. Terror and pits and booby traps are everywhere, whoever you are. If you run from the terror, you'll fall into the pit. If you climb out of the pit, you'll get caught in the trap. Chaos pours out of the skies. The foundations of earth are crumbling. Earth is smashed to pieces. Earth is ripped to shreds. Earth is wobbling out of control. Earth staggers like a drunk, sways like a shack in a high wind. Its piled up sins are too much for it. It collapses and won't get up again. That's when God will call on the carpet, rebel powers in the skies, and rebel kings on earth. They'll be rounded up like prisoners in a jail, corralled and locked up in a jail, and then sentenced and put to hard labor. Shame-faced moon will cower, humiliated red-faced sun will sulk disgraced, because God of the angel armies will take over, ruling from Mount Zion and Jerusalem, splendid and glorious before all his leaders. Isaiah chapter 25. God, you are my God. I celebrate you. I praise you. You've done your share of miracle wonders, well thought out plans, solid and sure. Here you've reduced the city to rubble, the strong city to pile of stones. The enemy big city is a non-city, never to be a city again. Superpowers will see it and honor you. Brutal oppressors bow in worshipful reverence. They'll see that you take care of the poor, that you take care of poor people in trouble, provide a warm, dry place in a bad weather, provide a cool place when it's hot. Brutal oppressors are like a winter blizzard, and vicious foreigners like high noon in the desert. But you, shelter from the storm and shade from the sun. Shut the mouths of the big-mouthed bullies. But here on this mountain, God of the angel armies will throw a feast for all the people of the world. A feast of the finest foods, a feast with vintage wines, a feast of 7 courses, a feast lavish with gourmet desserts. And here on this mountain, God will banish the pall of doom, hanging over all peoples, the shadow of doom darkening all nations. Yes, he'll banish death forever. And God will wipe the tears from every face. He'll remove every sign of disgrace from his people wherever they are. Yes, God says so. Also at that time, people will say, look at what's happened. This is our God. We waited for him and he showed up and saved us. This God, the one we waited for. Let's celebrate, sing the joys of his salvation. God's hands rests on this mountain. As for the Moabites, they'll be treated like trash. Waste shoveled into a cesspool, trash away as they will, like swimmers trying to stay afloat. They'll sink in the sewage. Their pride will pull them under. Their famous fortifications will crumble to nothing. Those mighty walls reduced to dust. Amen.
Amen.